In today's Sharp Saturday video, we're going to take a look at a couple of more knives from the folks at Demko Knives. This time we're going to look at one of their folders, the Shark Cub. We're going to take a look at the clip point and the dry point versions. Coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me for another Sharp Saturday video where it's Saturday and we take a look at something sharp. As I said, today we're going to take a look at these Demko knives, Shark Cubs. Call that because they feature the really cool new shark lock. And we're going to take a closer look at these at the old stump top and then get to doing some of that knife stuff coming up right after this word from you know where. Today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Hog Holsters. Hog Holsters are made in the USA in Arizona, and they are without a doubt the most comfortable concealable holster I've ever tested. You can save 10% on your order at Hog Holsters by using the coupon code Survival on Purpose, all one word. That's hogholsters.com. Thanks to Hog Holsters for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so here are a couple of versions of the Demko Shark Cub folding knife. And this knife comes in at under $100 at $89.99. And if you're familiar with Demko knives, you know that the founder was responsible for helping design the Triad lock and I think the Cobra lock, or maybe not the Cobra, but the Scorpion lock. Those were cold steel. He's come up with this Shark lock, which is pretty cool, that both these knives feature. They also both feature a deep carry ambidextrous pocket clip, and they have caged ball bearings on the pivot, so they're really smooth and very well made. And these knives are made in Taiwan, as we looked at the other Demko knives. They also have a few versions made in the USA, but they cost a little more money, of course. So let's talk about the Shark lock. You can see this thing, what it does. It's got this little shark fin on it, and you pull that back and it releases the lock. And it's got a couple of different notches. You can't really see them. It's hard to show you on here, but they engage very positively in several different places. And you can see that thing when it's open, it pops back. And watch it, when you close it, it goes forward. Bam, it's got a spring in there, and it locks very positively. And when you're holding down on it, it gives you a little thumb ramp, actually. It even makes it lock more positively. Then it has some jimping back here. The clip point has a false edge swage here. A very tiny little sharpening choil, which I like, and thumb studs. And then a couple of little relieved finger grooves here on the handle. They both have the exact same handle on them, and very comfortable. The pocket clip does not really hurt your hand like some of them do. It's kind of relieved. It's very small and subdued. And again, the Shark lock just like that, and just like that. I found one of these is pretty easy to open, a little easier to open than the other one. But this one, it doesn't quite flick open as much. But this one flicks open pretty good once you practice on it. But honestly, it is a little painful on my old finger there, pushing on that. It's not really designed for that. It's really a lock. So, and you can keep your hands out. What's cool about it is you can keep your fingers out of the way when you're closing it. You don't have to have your fingers in here like you do for a liner lock. You just let your fingers out of the way, let it close. So that's pretty cool there. This one's got a great big slot for thumb slot, which I like. I like that really better than studs. Sometimes the studs can get, I don't know which, maybe I don't. We'll see. But anyway, I'm rambling, so I'm going to stop. Let's get to doing a little bit of that testing stuff. We're not going to do some of these aren't bushcraft knives. These are EDC style knives. So we're not going to do some of the testing we would normally do, but we certainly can do the internationally standard sharpness test, the redneck sharp test. I think that certainly we need to do that. And oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see that sharpening medium right there, but that's a bunch of hair there. And that was the clip point. So now let's try they're calling this the Slicer Shark. Okay, all right. We're going to say, like, is there a better score than A? This is absolutely like 6 stars out of 5 for the sharpness, okay? Well, for sure. So that's, I mean, we could try to strike a ferro rod with that, but honestly, it's not a bushcraft knife, and that is not sharp. That is not sharp. So, upon further reflection, I've decided I will see how well this thing carves some wood, because it's a knife, and knives need to be able to carve stuff, including wood. So, we're going to start with the Slicer Shark and see if we can carve some curls here. And oh my gosh, I mean, like I said before, if it does so good on the sharpness, on the redneck sharp test, I know it's going to carve. There's no, you know, sharp is sharp, right? And it's absolutely, man, it's getting like some tiny little curls there. Very, very sharp. So we'll make a small pile of these with this one, and then we'll make another pile on the other side, and we'll just compare these two against each other. How about that? Because it's rocking. Okay, that's enough. It's enough to proof of concept. So that's this one. Now let's put this one over here and see what kind of, oh my gosh. Both of them are just amazingly sharp. Pile's about the same, maybe not, maybe a couple more here. Okay. All right, there we go. Next, we'll get the old fat wood, see if we can do something with that. So what I'm going to do now is close this thing. You know, we'll go ahead and trust it. Should we trust the lock? Because it's super sharp. I'm going to trust it. We're going to see what happens. No scrapey there. No scrapey there. Now we'll shut it so we can get some leverage scrapey. I'm not optimistic. Get no scrapiness. Okay, so no scrapey there. Let's see if we can get scrapey on this one. I don't think it will. They're the same, pretty much same blade, but maybe the back's different. Doesn't have that swedge. But not so much. Back in storage for you. Which means I don't think it's going to strike a ferrocerium rod. But let's see. And that's a negative right there. Try the other one just in case. And a negative right there. So that one and that one. Great carvers, not so much on the strike, scraping. But I happen to have both my second favorite and my favorite ferro rod here. This one happens to have a little canister of butane attached, and we'll just go ahead and show you why I've always got one of these in my pocket too. Alrighty. Knock knock. Who's there? Chuck Norris. Sorry. Joke's over when Chuck gets involved. Well, that was a admittedly brief look at the Demko Knives Shark Cubs, and you may see me standing here next to the balance, orientation, and rotation device, but don't get your hopes up. These are folders. We're not going to abuse them, even though this shark lock is very strong. Just don't really test the aerodynamic balance of folders. It's just not, I consider that abuse. So anyway, my final thoughts about these two knives. For an EDC knife, I think they're excellent. They're lightweight. They're super solid. This lock is really good. The edge is really good on these things. Demko Knives did a great job, and I like that it's ambidextrous. I like that it's not a liner lock. It's a very solid lock, and just very good edges on these things. So, made in Taiwan. Taiwan has got some really good reputation for making some really good knives, and some of their factories over there. So, I can't fault that. Closed, encased ball bearing pivot, just really well-made knife for under $100. That's some of this stuff is really unusual to see in knives that are under $100. Even the AUS 10A steel is pretty decent steel. That they're able to achieve that, I think, by making these things in Taiwan instead of making them in the USA. But very, very, very well-made knife, in my opinion. So I give these things a thumbs up. And if you're looking for a really cool, very well-made knife under $100 for an EDC style knife, I think these would be a good choice for you. And by the way, Demko Knives does not pay me. I don't have an affiliate relationship with them or anything. The only way I make any money on this video is if you buy something off of Amazon. So, and then it's not much. So my point is that I don't have a dog in this hunt. I'm not saying this because they're paying me or anything else. I just think they're really cool knives. I do think they're good knives. And I'm glad I got to show them to you. So thanks again to the folks at Demko for sending them. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.